Back in the kitchen with Chef Carol. Here's part 2 of my homemade beef stew. Now that I let that cook down for about an hour, as you can see, the meat is cooking really good. I'm going to poke a fork in to see if I can check to see how tender, to see how I can just pick that up with the fork. And that means it's halfway done. So now I can go ahead and add my potatoes. I have four small potatoes that I'm just gonna go ahead and add to the pan there. They're the small, tiny potatoes that come in the bag, and you just go ahead and put that in the pan. And I have some frozen carrots that I'm just gonna go ahead and add in, about a cup of small carrots, crinkle cut carrots. This is what's gonna make it hearty. Okay, they're the frozen carrots, and I just add that to the pan as well with the potatoes. And as you can see, the water is nice and still runny there, so I just went ahead and got 2 tablespoons of flour, and I put in some adobo, some Sazon, and I've used a pack of that. I put in some water, and with the flour, and I just mix it together. That's going to make a thick paste for the beef stew. And I'm just going to add that in. And once the potatoes are cooked down, this beef stew is done. This is hearty, homemade beef stew. So now I'm just going to go ahead and turn that back up and let that boil before I add in my flour and water paste. I'll just add that in there, and that'll just thicken that right on up. Just stir it in, and we have our hearty beef stew. And I'll let that cook down for another 15-20 minutes, and our beef stew is done. Now see how that thickened up the juice already? Then we let that cook and thicken up real good. Then I can go ahead and add in some granule minced garlic. I'll just go ahead and add a teaspoon of that. Nice teaspoon of that in there too. I'll go ahead and taste it for flavor. Let's go ahead and taste it for flavor. Delicious. And I'll go ahead and I'll add another tablespoon of my horseradish for that remarkable flavor. That's a tablespoon of horseradish that I added in there with a good, remarkable flavor. Excuse my first video where I said I'm remarkable. I apologize, but this is remarkably flavored horseradish in my beef stew. I can add a pinch of salt in there as well for flavoring, but I'm not. I'm going to go ahead and use the horseradish. That's going to give it its remarkable flavor as well. And it's delicious. Can't beat that, guys. I'll let that go ahead and cook down some more for about another hour, or 15 minutes rather. 15 minutes to a half an hour. I'll let that cook some more, and I'll be back.